On today's episode of David Does Things, we are gonna do things and stuff. Actually, it's after work. I'm probably not gonna turn this into a full video, but this will probably segue into what's gonna be for tomorrow's video. But start up, I got this wonderful, lovely mess here in my garage, taking up this whole entire garage bay. So my game plan is just to move the bike up a little bit and kind of out of the way, and then kind of just organize all this stuff. Because the next thing I really need to do is I need to actually start tearing into like the subframe down here and paint it and deal with my motor mounts, because I really need to do another pass of weld on them just to make sure they're a little stiffer, or a little bit like, you know what I mean, where they're a little bit safer. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. With that being said, jump into it. Let's go. Alright, behold, the garage floor is not nearly as messy. More or less, everything just got stacked up against the wall. So, now we have space to work on this guy, start tearing it down so we can get the subframe painted. Once the subframe is painted, we can put it in that thing. Once that's done, it's not done yet. Don't worry guys, we're not done with it. It will be, I don't know yet, but we're not done with it. I know I still have to sand and do more clear coat on it. But, anyway, back to this thing. So, pretty straightforward. We're gonna remove the shock. As you saw my morning going, we had a lot of struggles removing some of the bolts from, or actually just really one of the bolts from the subframe. Yeah, I tried penetrating fluid, heat, extractors, as you saw, everything. I went out and bought the special just for that, and they still didn't work. Anyway, what ended up working was a lot of heat, and then grabbing just a pair of vice grips just to crack it loose. Once it was cracked loose, not really a big deal to get it out, and that's usually how these problems go. The only other issue I really had getting it out is I broke off one of the, I'm gonna call it a captive nut, that's probably not what it's called, but like the thread section, which it's not really the end of the world. I can just grab the welder and re-weld it back on. My next step is probably to get all this junk cleaned up, because it's absolutely disgusting. So I'm just gonna grab the pressure washer, some degreaser, go to town here and clean up all this sludge. And then once that's all done, we can go ahead and prep that surface and make that repair, and probably set this thing up to start painting it, because that's the goal for today, is to get this thing painted so I can stick it back in the chassis one of these days. I'm gonna go pressure wash it and be back in a minute. As you can see, I'm prepared for welding. Ah! Okay, so when I was taking apart the subframe, there is a couple little like threaded inserts like this. There's 4 of these actually. Anyway, this guy right here actually broke off, so I'm gonna go ahead and I just stuck the bolt through it to hold it in place. We're gonna weld this back up. Cleaned up as much as I can get. It's a little awkward of a spot to clean up in. And then when I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and take my mounts and go ahead and lay 2 more beads across each side of these, because this is only 1 pass and I wanted to do 3 passes across this. The reason this looks kind of crummy is it's actually a flux core. Anyway, it's a gasless wire, so it makes a bunch of spatter. So it looks kind of chunky, and this was kind of awkward, so that's why we're going to make more passes across this, 2 more. So, gonna go ahead and do that real quick. All the fun right now, and then once all this stuff gets done cooling down, sand and put some paint on some stuff. So that'll be pretty exciting. Ooh, my hair's a mess. It's always fun when you get to do a little bit of welding practice, and especially when it's like for something that you're actually going to use and you're not just welding random chunks of metal together. It's so much rewarding. I'm kind of new to welding, so take that with a grain of salt. I have no tips for you. Do your best. Good luck. Go find a better channel if you want welding tips. I'm not it. But here's what mine look like. If you guys are curious, here's the one I just welded up, which, like I said before, flux core wire causes a lot of spattering. It's a gasless wire, so it's just going to spatter. I do now have MIG wire, but I didn't when I started all these projects. But anyway, so this is done. We're just waiting for this to cool down, and then we can go ahead and sand it down and grind it up or whatnot. We went ahead and put a couple more passes on our motor mounts here, which I know they don't always look the prettiest. This side doesn't look too bad. I'm actually pretty pleased with that side. That side, yeah, so-so. And down here, not too bad. But they are now reinforced. We have double the strength on them. So they now have 3 passes of weld across both the motor mounts because they're super structural and super important. Worst case is, I guess they break, motor falls in, who knows. We'll find out when we use it, put it together. So
Day 368. We are still painting things.
Good morning, guys. So, it's actually been like 2 days since I've actually talked to the camera. Yesterday I did some filming, but then had to do other things throughout the day. So, we did do this yesterday, which this looks so good. I'm so hyped about this color. And we started painting the motor mounts. I wish these were semi-gloss, but they're not. They're gloss. That's okay. It is whatever. Not gonna really see them too much. They're just motor mounts. So we're gonna flip all this stuff over because I let it dry for the night and coat the other side. Okay, it's time to coat this one with pink. Those with black. Start with those because those are smaller. Yeah, so sorry. This stuff, I don't know why I'm apologizing to you guys. This is my timeline here. Anyway, this probably would have been done tomorrow or yesterday, but I did have other engagements that I had to go to. Had to go to a graduation party for neighborino over here, so congrats to them. I highly doubt you guys watched my videos, but congrats on graduating. See your family next year because you got like a bunch more kids, and I feel like there's one next year too, probably. Anyway, so that happened, and then went to Dalton's for dinner and hung out and did stuff. We did bring back the engine hoist yesterday, so I didn't show that to anybody. Because we need to tackle taking the motor back out of that thing. I don't know if I've told you guys yet, and I'm not gonna tell you guys right now. I'm gonna save that for another video for another time because we're not pulling that today. But that's gotta come out again, and that's unfortunate. So, with that being said, we're gonna throw our tack coats on these, and let's get the painting party started. Okay, so this might be a good idea or a terrible idea. Probably a good idea. I'm putting more glitter on this for funsies, so I'm gonna get more covered in glitter even though I have to go somewhere today. So I'm just gonna be sparkly vampire. It's cool. Let's get to being a sparkly vampire. Oh, that matte trick totally works. We'll cut to that in a second. But back to this. Oh, I'm gonna switch it up. So instead of spraying to like blow the glitter out of the cap of the flake, I'm gonna actually pour it like on a paper and see if I can get a better coverage with just like blowing it off a piece of paper onto this. My goal here is like I want to try to get the top area of this just super glittery. I think it'll look super sick once we're all done. Probably spread some more glitter on all the tubs and stuff like that just because I think it'll look better. And why not? Because I have it. Let's get to it.